Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's Game 2 of this 4-game series between the Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. The Astros trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. They got shellacked 12-0 last night, and they face a former Cy Young Award winner tonight.
It just gets easier and easier, doesn't it? David Price, obviously, coming off the DL last year, a tremendous year as he was able to pick up that Cy Young Award, as tough as anybody in the American League. And so as he comes off the DL, I guess all you can do is wonder, how sharp is he at this point?
Eric Bedard, though, has 11 wins against Tampa Bay in his career, by far the most he has against any club.
3-3 on this season for Eric Bedard. The wins have been tough to come by, but he's pitched much better than the 3-3 mark. But as you mentioned, Brownie, the 11 wins lifetime against Tampa Bay says that he has had his way with the Rays for whatever reason. Left-hand hitters have had a little more success against him than he would like this year. You can see him carving up hitter after hitter. Cardinals in this sequence. But Eric Bedard has pitched well. He's walked off that hill many a time, though, after pitching well and not picking up a win.
11-5 lifetime against the Rays with a 3.32 ERA. 22 starts. They've had a lot of looks at him.
Well, Eric Bedard's been around a long time, and you would figure that might be the case. Eric is not a guy that's going to overpower hitters, but he has been really splendid in that strike zone this year.
Now back to Mr. Price, who comes off the disabled list tonight. And by the way, to make room for him, what a tough day for Ryan Roberts. He hit 2 homers last night. He got sent down to the minors today.
That's what you get for hitting 2 bombs in a game last night, and both off of curveballs, part of the big barrage put on by that offense by Tampa Bay.
So Price is back. He's had a couple of minor league rehab starts.
David Price, when he's on, is a guy that'll go mid-90s steady, and he'll run it up to 97. He's got a good little cutter that he'll throw on both sides of the plate. This year, however, early on, before he went on the DL, numbers were down in terms of velocity, and the batting average and ERA a bit sky high this year against David, a guy that has been accustomed as a former #1 pick in the draft years back to being completely dominant in the major leagues. There's the numbers from last year: 20-5, 256 the ERA in picking up that coveted award. 3-time All-Star. He's just been a terrific pitcher, and as an individual, you can see coming out of Vanderbilt, he comes very, very highly touted.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston, Julia Morales has our next report. Jose Altuve, the Venezuelan-born second baseman, perhaps a 2-time All-Star. That's to be determined. She'll talk with Jose in just a moment.
Get set for the Astros and the Rays, the home team, trying to put last night's loss behind them. A tough 12-0 shutout was the team's worst loss in more than a month. Reliever Wes Wright told me today, though, it's not the first time we've been shut out, and it won't be the last. The beauty about this game is that we get to wake up and try it again today. That's exactly what the Astros will do in Game 2 of this series against the Rays. Here's Jose Altuve with our Geico quote of the game.
Yeah, I think we have a new attitude today. Everybody just come to the field as a new day. Everybody wants to go outside. Put yesterday in my hand, play the game tonight, and face prize today and do the best that we can, try to win the game.
You can see the guys having some fun there in the clubhouse. Carlos Corporon very loose today as he is catching. And that's what Jake Elmore told me. He said everyone came in with a light mood today. And he also credited Matt Dominguez's choice of music, a very California style there in the clubhouse today. We'll see what happens tonight. Let's have some fun tonight, shall we? Coming up, the Astros taking on the Rays in Game 2 of the series. You can catch it right here on CSN.
Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And let's go inside. It's sizzling outside, air conditioned in here for Game 2 of this 4-game series. The Astros trying to snap a 4-game losing streak right now. And as they take the field tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays, they're 30-53 for the season. And for the Rays, who have won 8 of their last 12, their lineup begins with Jennings in center field. Desmond 1 for 4 with an RBI last night. He's followed by left fielder Sean Rodriguez. The second baseman Ben Zobrist bats third. It's Evan Longoria returning to the lineup at designated hitter. He's been out with plantar fasciitis. He's missed 3 games. He's the cleanup man with Will Myers in right field following him. At shortstop, it's Yunel Escobar. At first base, James Loney. The catcher is Jose Molina. At third base, it's Kelly Johnson.
Getting loose on the hill, left-hander Eric Bedard, 34 years of age. He's 3-3 on the year, 4.43 the ERA. Allowing about a hit an inning. Like to cut those 32 walks down a bit, but 60 strikeouts may be a surprise at this stage of his career. Eric Bedard a winner his last time out, that against the Cardinals, working 6 strong innings, allowing 3 runs in those 6 innings. Defensively for Houston tonight, behind the dish, it's Carlos Corporon. Around the infield, right to left, Chris Carter, Jose Altuve, Jake Elmore, and Matt Dominguez. In the outfield, in center field, Brandon Barnes, flanked by Jimmy Paredes in right, and JD Martinez in left.
After last night's game, Hector Ambriz was demoted to AAA Oklahoma City. Ambriz gave up 4 hits and 3 runs in 1 inning. He was optioned to Oklahoma City, and Brett Oberholzer, a lefty who's been starting, has been recalled from the Red Hawks and is in the bullpen for the Astros tonight. Now Eric Bedard getting set to work to Desmond Jennings. Jennings had 252 with 9 homers, has driven in 30. Third baseman Dominguez in close. Oh, that one's cracked into right center field on the ground. Jennings jumping all over that first pitch from Bedard with a leadoff single, gets the Rays started after a 17-hit game last night.
Look fastball, get fastball, and crush it, and that's exactly what Desmond Jennings does.
Jennings reaches for Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez had a game for him to remember in his career last night. A career high 4-hit game. First time he had done that. 261, 2 homers, 14 runs batted in for Sean Rodriguez now. He takes it at strike 1. James Hoy is the home plate umpire. Rodriguez 1 for 5 lifetime against Eric Bedard. Bedard has had something of a spell on the Rays, going 11-5 in his career against them with a 3.32 ERA. The 11 wins, the most by far he's had against one club. That's fouled away, and it snowballs 2 strikes. Well, the Rays were hitting everything last night, weren't they? James Hoy, Bob Davidson, Jim Reynolds, and John Hirschbeck, the umpires.
And through the first pitch this evening, they hadn't slowed down.
Yeah, you know, Jose Altuve was talking about coming out. It's a brand new day, that sort of thing. Wesley Wright. Well, that's the way baseball players have to approach it. Every team's going to go through difficult one-sided losses at some point during the season. It's 1-2. The Astros are 20-23 since mid-May and trying to get it revved up again. At home now, they're 16-30 this season. Last homestand they did well, winning 5 and losing 2. They won 1 game from the Cardinals. Since then, things have turned south. Swept by the Angels over the weekend.
And the schedule maker's gotten a little tougher on the club as well.
That's a good point. And the Rays are just 5.5 out in their AL East division, a very tough division. They're 5 games over 500 at 44-39, and they're 24-15 outside their division. Now it's 3-2 to Rodriguez. Jennings has 9 steals in 15 tries. Madden in his 8th year as a Tampa Bay manager. His club does not run a whole lot. Elmore and Altuve set up for a double play ball here on a 3-2. And that is ball 4. 2 men on, nobody out here in the Tampa Bay first. Benjamin Zobrist follows.
When you work on that 3-2 count, the tough place to get the call is inside edge, and missing off that inside edge is Bedard.
Zobrist, too, was 1 for 5 last night. Comes up with a 272 average. He has 5 long balls. He's driven in 43. Zobrist, a switch hitter who came from the Astros in a deal involving Aubrey Huff, who moved from Tampa Bay to Houston, and Mitch Talbot, who moved along with Zobrist to Tampa Bay in July of 06. He'd been drafted in the 6th round in 04 after playing at Dallas Baptist by the Astros. That's a strike on a breaking pitch to Bedard. And Bedard has thrown his curveball 16% of the time this year. Opponents are hitting only 175 against his curve. He's thrown his fastball 64% of the time. He's edging off second. That's in the air to right center field. A long run back for Barnes. Barnes in position as the runner at second tags Jennings. Throw goes into second base. The runner tagging and advancing there. The throw is not on line. And both runners move up on the Zobrist long fly ball. Rodriguez getting into second after Jennings took third.
I don't know that anything could have changed right here had Brandon Barnes planted and gunned towards second base, which he did not. But both runners moving up costly here in the first inning. You'll see he makes the catch and then kind of casually turns and throws back in. He throws to the shortstop, who I guess is the cutoff man, although in that scenario that really doesn't make any sense. But for me, that play necessitates a one-hop let it fly job to second base.
Now Evan Longoria comes to the plate. And Longoria is the big RBI man for Tampa Bay. 298, 17 homers, 47 runs batted in for Longoria. He's been out for the last 3 games with that foot injury. In tight, ball 1. So the fact that he's DHing will mean less running for Longoria. With that plantar fasciitis. He's hitting 284 with runners in scoring position, but 0 for his last 13.
Fasciitis doesn't tend to let up quickly and lastingly very often.
It's 1 ball 1 strike. Longoria 0 for 3 in his career against Bedard.
Just threw the fastball right on by off that outside edge.
Longoria, a first-round pick in 06, the 3rd player drafted that year, went to Long Beach State. He's from Downey, California. He takes that one, and it's 2-1 to Evan. Evan was an all-star in 08, 09, also 2010. Consistently a fine run producer, but last year he missed a little bit over half the season with a partially torn left hamstring. That's up, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Evan Longoria.
Still at a young age, Longoria becoming that guy that's finding it difficult to stay healthy.
27. He left the game Friday night against Detroit after irritating that right foot problem. That's ball 4 and the bases are loaded for Will Myers.
Well, this scenario may be more beneficial to Eric Bedard and the Astros than runners at second and third with Longoria at the plate.
Double plays in order. He's facing a very young hitter. Will Myers, 22 years old. Will Porter hoping that good things are about to happen defensively for his club against a hitter with a 293 average, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in. Myers has played 14 major league games this year. He has hit in 12 of those. He had an RBI single and a couple of walks last night. Since the start of 2011, only 2 other players have hit safely in 12 of their first 14 major league games. One of those is Jose Altuve in 2011. The other is Yasiel Puig this year. He's had 1 at bat with the bases loaded in the majors, and he hit a grand slam off CC Sabathia at Yankee Stadium. Fly ball to right field. Jimmy Paredes back to the warning track with the catch. The runner from third will tag and come home to make it 1-0, and Sean Rodriguez gets to third base. Sacrifice fly for Myers, his 11th run batted in.
Pretty efficient offense here for Tampa Bay in the series. And a nice job by Paredes. He comes up planting immediately and firing into second. Jimmy possesses pretty good arm in right field. It's not one of the great guns of the game.
It's not one of the guns of Navarone.
Maybe that, but that's another league, isn't it? That's the Texas League.
Yeah. Might be the German league, in fact. Yunel Escobar's the batter. He fouls it back. He's cranking away. There's strike one to Escobar. 243 for Yunel. 6 homers, 31 runs batted in for Escobar. Escobar walked a couple of times last night. He was hitless 0 for 3 in the Tampa Bay 12-0 assault on Houston. Taps that foul, and it's 0-2. And the Rays, with 390 runs scored so far, are on the upper half of the American League in runs. They have been particularly successful against left-handed pitching. They're hitting 290 against lefties. That leads the American League. Their pitching is not as good as it has been in their best years, and their hitting is probably a little bit better than in some of their good years.
Their ballpark looks like a cracker box. It looks like you'd put up huge offensive numbers, but their pitching is dominated. And that prior to this year, recent years. Of course, they had a very healthy David Price and James Shields and on. Great pitching staff.
Weren't you saying they have the best home ERA in the American League?
Well,
or was that the Rangers?
The Texas Rangers have had that. That's an amazing stat this year.
That's right. We were talking about that before the game, and you threw that out there. That was surprising. Swing there, and a strikeout of Escobar, and the damage is 1 run in the first inning on 1 hit. 2 men stranded. Tampa Bay 1. Houston coming up against David Price. Come up in the bottom half against the reigning Cy Young Award winner with Jake Elmore at shortstop leading off. The number 2 hitter is second baseman Jose Altuve. He's followed by Chris Carter at first base, J.D. Martinez in left field, Carlos Corcoran the catcher, Brandon Barnes in center field, Ronnie Cedeno the designated hitter, Matt Dominguez at third base, Jimmy Paredes in right field.
On the mound for these Tampa Bay Rays, outstanding left-hander, 27 years of age, David Price. He's 1-4 on a very disappointing start to his season. 5.24 the ERA for the reigning Cy Young Award winner. He's also in his young career finished second for that award. So he's been up there in that type of race year after year. Great stuff. But again, that stuff ailing a bit early on this season. Defensively for Tampa Bay behind the dish, Jose Molina, the veteran, around the infield. Right to left, James Loney, Ben Zobrist, Yunel Escobar, and Kelly Johnson. In the outfield, Desmond Jennings in center. He's flanked by Will Myers in right and Sean Rodriguez in left.
There's a bird perching in that wire that holds up the screen behind home plate. He's shaking things around a little bit. Jake Elmore hits it off.
A big bird, huh?
That's a large bird. Elmore, it's strike one for Price. 269. There's that bird.
That is, I mean, he's got to be the strongest individual pound for pound here in this building.
I think so. Doesn't want to be underneath him right now either, from what we saw.
Little something going on there.
One ball, one strike to Elmore. Elmore 1 for 4 last night.
Wonder what the scouts have to say about that.
Hopefully they're sitting off to the side when they say whatever it is they want to say about it. Bouncer to second base. Zobrist on to first. And that's out number 1 for Price, who's had a couple of minor league rehab starts, getting ready for his return to the major league rotation. So he gets that first out in routine fashion and moves along to face Jose Altuve. Price is the first reigning Cy Young Award winner to go on the DL since Jake Peavy in 08. But of course, after all the innings he pitched last year, 211, striking out 205, he put a pretty good load on that arm and has been out with a strained left triceps. And in start number 9, he exited the game against Boston with that injury. Jose Altuve moves back for ball 1. At 290, he checks in with 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. Jose 0 for 2 in last night's game.
Fastball at 95 there from David Price. That's pretty much in that starter range for him.
Bouncer third, backhanded. Kelly Johnson across. 2 outs for Price.
Altuve gets in front and just rolls it over on the left side. Easy play at third base.
The Astros were held to 2 singles in last night's game and 3 walks. Chris Carter with 15 homers leads the club. He has 40 runs batted in.
Better not let yourself fall too far behind on David Price.
That's strike 1.
Steady at 95.
Carter had one of the 2 hits for Houston last night, a 4th inning single to left center. He bounces that one foul. He's the only Astro in the lineup tonight who has faced David Price, who's 1 for 1 against him. That quite often has been the case for the Astros club this year with the transition to the American League and a lot of new players.
On that minor league rehab, David Price worked 7 1/3 innings, allowing 1 earned run in that span. All the numbers looking like he is ready to go.
He's only the 3rd pitcher to post 1 or fewer wins in his first 9 starts after winning the Cy Young Award the previous year. This is there, and it's 1-2. Zach Greinke came back after his Cy Young season with Kansas City to have 1 win in 2010, and Bartolo Colon had 1 win in his first 9 starts, that is, next year. Bartolo Colon had 1 in 06 after his Cy Young season. Carter swings and he misses, and he strikes out to end the first inning. Oh, it's 1-0 Rays after 1 at Minute Maid Park.
Astros tomorrow and Thursday. Astros facing off against the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow at 7:10 with patriotic post-game fireworks. Then Thursday, July 4th, first pitch against the Rays is at 1:10 with a special pregame military parade. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS for tickets, guys.
Two big games coming up, 7:10 the third and 1:10 the fourth. And then you know what's happening. You mentioned Independence Day, Julia. After that game on the 4th, you know who's in town for the big concert? Sponsored by the city of Houston at Eleanor Tinsley Park. The authoress of Independence Day, Martina McBride.
The authoress?
Yeah. Is that a correct term?
I hope so.
Okay. James Loney takes ball one. The Houston native at .313 has the 10th best average in the American League with 9 homers, 41 runs batted in, and a 12-game hitting streak. And Sheryl Crow joins Martina McBride.
Some big name power.
Yeah. So Julia was mentioning the fireworks after the game tomorrow night. That'll be a big show. And then more fireworks will go up over Eleanor Tinsley Park on Thursday night. And we're all home after watching a ball game. Or we're at Eleanor Tinsley Park. 2 balls and a strike. Should be a big turnout for that. Eric Bedard came into this game with a first inning ERA 10.13, third highest among major league pitchers with at least 10 starts. Loney at .363 on the road has the best average away from the fish tank. Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They have a big Ray tank beyond center field there in Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg. Derek Shelton there, the hitting coach, just took off his cap. Often seen in a video advertising a hitting product. 3-2. What do they call that gizmo anyway, Ash? Do you remember?
I don't know, but it clicks and it gives you that feel and the sound, I guess, huh?
Okay.
I don't know what that's called.
It's kind of a rubber ball on the end of a rod that you could use to warm up with before hitting, or
can improve your fishing, casting.
It might. There's ball 4. It might do exactly that. That's the third walk for Eric Bedard, and Loney's aboard.
Eric Bedard puts one pretty much where he wants, maybe a hair under, and nod goes to the offense.
Now the flying Molina brothers, Jose Molina, one of 3 catching brothers in that family, comes up. Jose is 38 years old, 259, 1 homer, 8 runs batted in. Benji and Yadier, the other 2 brothers in the family. That is an amazing baseball family with all the games those 3 have caught in the big leagues.
I think for Benji and Jose, it's been a higher wire act trying to stay close to their brother. Yadier has just been dynamite.
Yadier continues to lead the National League in batting average, which is just unbelievable. Jose and Benji, of course, known for their defensive work as well, but not in that hitting category of Yadier. Yadier is in a whole nother world, as they say, Ash.
This guy's in a whole nother world in terms of speed or lack thereof. Along with Benji, I guess they both, that'd be quite a race.
Jose played 251 at bats for Tampa Bay last year, hit .223, 8 homers, 32 runs batted in. He's been with the Cubs, the Angels, Yankees, Toronto. 1 ball, 1 strike. A nice long career.
To 92 on the fastball here for Bedard. That's been kind of in the high water mark all season long for Eric.
Well, you know, we had the Alou brothers who all played in the same outfield together one time, or more than once, with the Giants, right? So now 3 catching brothers.
Had a chance to play with Jesus Alou here in Houston. Or as we called him, Chooch.
Chooch? Okay, I didn't know that.
Chooch Alou.
Well, now, according to stories, and you could verify this, he referred to himself as the J. Alou. Is that correct? The J. Alou.
You know, that may have been the case. It's been a while back, and yeah, I think I may have. I think he spoke of himself in the third person as Chooch on occasions in the J.
Fly ball to right field. Paredes coming over toward the line, and he makes that catch for out in the win. So as in, they can't bench the J. Alou.
Well, I think that would go without saying. You know, he could swing it. I think if you were born with the Alou name, you were probably born into pretty good hitting genes.
Oh, yeah. Now Kelly Johnson, 233, 11 homers, 39 runs batted in.
Stay away from the treadmills, however.
That could be dangerous. Johnson takes ball one. Kelly, 31 years old, from Austin, Texas. He's been playing mostly outfield. In fact, has 6 outfield assists. But playing third with Longoria DHing tonight. And he's been a second baseman as well, and a shortstop in his career. 2 balls, no strikes. It pays to be versatile. In fact, it's almost mandatory to be versatile if you're going to be a Tampa Bay Ray, right?
If you are not versatile and you get picked up by Tampa Bay, get yourself some new gloves.
It's crazy the way so many players play 3-4 different positions or more with this club.
And I'd love to know how Joe Madden handles it. Does he go up to his players and say, are you capable? Or does he say, get yourself ready. Bring a bunch of gloves to camp because you got a chance of playing all over the place.
Well, they probably seek out players who are capable of multiple positions.
Yeah. Ben Zobrist is really the leader in that department over here. But Kelly Johnson's ideal. Pretty good size guy that can play second, so therefore get yourself ready to play some other positions that may not be quite as demanding.
His best RBI year was with Arizona in 2010. He drove in 71. Now 3-2 to Kelly Johnson. He was a compensation pick of the Braves after the first round in 2000. Signed as a free agent, 1-year deal with Tampa Bay in January of this year.
Johnson's been prone to the strikeout through his career.
159 of those last year, and 507 at bats. And lashes a line drive out to right center field. Barnes over to play it. Loney into second base. First and second, one out on the hit by Johnson.
Brandon Barnes going to get himself picked with one of these lob throws back into the infield. And a club like Tampa Bay is a team that would certainly love to take a shot at that.
Desmond Jennings comes up next. He opened the game with a ground ball single to right center field. He's been high on that prospect list, moving his way up the ladder and arriving in the big leagues briefly in 2010. Not about a half a season in 2011. And hit a couple of home runs after that season in the American League Division Series. Last year he played a full year. That's strike one. Of course, Carl Crawford, the longtime Devil Ray outfielder, moved on. And that's typically the way things happen with the Rays. They don't identify too many players for those long-term multi-year deals. Longoria qualified for that. So that gives them a chance to use that pipeline from the minor leagues to the majors, and they bring a lot of guys up.
Here's a high curveball. You don't often see that called a strike, but probably within the actual strike zone.
Jennings is from Birmingham, Alabama. He was a wide receiver in high school. Bangs that one foul. Stays alive at 0-2. All 5 teams in the American League East enter play today at 500 or better. The AL East has a .582 winning percentage against all other divisions. 127 and 91 for a record. The Rays fit into that department. They're 20 and 24 against clubs in the East, 24 and 15 outside.
Tough when you're playing 75 roughly of your games on a season against those teams within that division.
Bet it is. And there you have the Red Sox at their 50-34 pace, 2.5 in front of the Orioles. Orioles made a trade today, acquiring starting pitching from the Cubs, Scott Feldman, and giving up Jake Arrieta. They also got catcher Steve Clevenger, who had been in the minor leagues. So the trading season has started. There's another deal. Carlos Marmol going to the Dodgers today for a relief pitcher. Marmol from the Cubs to the Dodgers for Matt Guerrero. And Feldman from the Cubs to the Orioles with Steve Clevenger from Pedro Strop and Jake Arrieta. Arrieta was a high draft choice. The Cubs are getting younger. That's strike 3. And a strikeout number 2. Out number 2 as well.
Big strikeout for Eric Bedard. Now a chance to get out of this inning without any damage. Curveball likely finds its way around the outside edge.
Sean Rodriguez will follow. He walked in the first.
Yeah, Brownie, if those Orioles find a way to pick up some pitching that helps them, they've got a good chance to win that division. They can swing the sticks.
Yeah, we were surprised to see their starting pitching ERA ranking so low in the American League. Very high starting pitching ERA.
Of course, the Red Sox fit in that category as well, and they lead the American League in runs scored. With Boston, Baltimore, Detroit, and Cleveland, you're talking about the 4 top run scoring teams. Tampa Bay right behind these clubs.
Zobrist is on deck with a 1-0 count here on Rodriguez. Ground ball short. Jake Elmore to Jose Altuve for the force at second on Johnson. No run to hit, 2 men left. 1-0 Rays.
To Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score but the experience.
We have an experience with Julia Morales right now.
Hey guys, yeah, Joe Madden, as you would expect, very excited to have David Price back on the mound after missing 44 games. But he said the most important thing for him to do tonight is keep his emotions under control. This is like opening night for him again. And he said they need him if they want to make a run at the World Series, guys.
You can understand that. Very important man in the scheme of things after going 20-5 with a 2.56 ERA for them last year. JD Martinez takes his first pitch, and it's ball 1. JD at 244 with 7 homers, has 30 runs batted in.
Things like keeping emotions under the surface, whatever the case may be, I think tough to analyze at times.
It's a shot into left center field. JD out of the box. center fielder coming over. Jennings gets it back in, and there's hit number 1 for the Astros.
But what Joe Madden and company can see is that David Price, in the first inning anyway, had the live fastball back, and here JD Martinez looks for it, gets it, and does what you want to do with it.
He's aboard. Carlos Corbin's looking down at Dave Tremblay, the third base coach, for instructions here. Carlos with 5 homers, 11 runs batted in, has a .273 batting average. He came into the game for 1 at bat last night, played a little first base at the end. Brandon Barnes on deck. That one almost clipped him, and it's ball 1 to Carlos. Carlos is 0 for 6 on this homestand. That was his first career appearance last night at first base. Started at catcher on Sunday against the Angels. And he starts a lot against left-handed pitching, but last night Jason Castro got the call against lefty Matt Moore. He pokes this one out of play, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count. You know, Madden's a very intriguing guy. He's certainly somebody who has a different way of leading people. A lot of freedom in that Tampa Bay clubhouse.
He treats the players like they're men, and I think the players really appreciate that, and I think they reciprocate. I think they have a tendency of living up to the billing a bit. I think he understands that you've got to have fun.
That's in for a strike. That makes it 1-2. Well, he's had some great results. This is the 6th time this year the Astros have faced somebody who has won a Cy Young in his lifetime. They faced Bartolo Colon on 3 of those occasions. Felix Hernandez and Justin Verlander, the previous 5 before Price tonight. In those 5 games, the reigning Cy Young Award winners, or former Cy Young Award winners, against the Astros are 5-0 with a 1.13 ERA.
Wonder if David Price knows that stat.
Probably not. He once pitched here in the College Classic when he was at Vanderbilt at Minute Maid Park. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That was shortly before being drafted with the #1 overall pick in the '07 draft. Let's see, he was briefly in the big leagues the next year, '08. He had 5 games at Tampa Bay, 1 as a starter. In case there are those wondering about Mark Appel and how quickly he might make it. Not that that would tell you that. Strike 3 call. That's strikeout number 2 for Price.
Inside edge. Carlos Corporon obviously not liking the call, but looked like a quality effort on that inside edge.
Appel, though, is scheduled now to make his professional debut Friday at Tri-City. He's working out at the Astros Spring Training Complex in Kissimmee, Florida.
You know, they say he passed the test, whatever that test may have been. He is ready to go, and I think most guys just go and go work on it. For Mark Appel, he's obviously a very special talent.
That's Brandon Barnes batting in the number 6 spot uncustomarily. Ground ball to third. There's a throw to second by Johnson. Relay on to first by Zobrist for a 5-4-3 double play, and after 2 it's 1-0 Rays.
3rd. Faith and Family Night is back Saturday, July 20th. The Astros take on the Mariners at 6:10 with an inspirational post-game concert featuring 10th Avenue North. Your game ticket is also your ticket to the concert. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets today, guys.
Thanks, Julia. We've been talking about music. There's even more of it coming up July 20th. 1-0 Rays. Benjamin Zobrist, the leadoff man in the 3rd. He shoots that one in the air, and on the infield is Jake Elmore moving in. 1 pitch, 1 out for Eric Bedard. Eric shooting for win number 4 of the season. Last night Dallas Keuchel started. He went 4 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 5 runs. Paul Clemens worked a couple of innings. Hector Ambriz 1. Wesley Wright 1 1/3. Evan Longoria walked in the 1st inning. And now Brett Oberholzer has joined the club tonight. Carlos Pena has arrived, by the way. Julia reported that several minutes ago. On his trip back from the Dominican Republic, he had a death in the family. Fly ball heads for Jimmy Paredes territory in right field. He's in for out number 2, and Carlos had been texting Bo Porter that he would be here. Wasn't sure exactly when. And Bo told him not to rush it, but he is back in uniform and on the bench tonight. And the Astros have been facing lefties now. This is the 3rd game in a row. So Carlos has been away from the club for that stretch, and tomorrow night it's back to right-handed opponents.
Makes for an intriguing bench tonight. 4 left-handed bats on it.
That's true. Off the end of the bat for Will Myers for strike 1.
Carlos Pena, Jason Castro, Brett Wallace, and Mark Krause.
Have we seen an Astros bench with 4 left-handed bats?
A lot of teams crying for those left-handed bats. Of course, you're always crying for the ones that are successful, producing.
Thought there was no crying in baseball.
It shouldn't be. It's unseemly.
No balls, 2 strikes. Roberto Hernandez takes the ball tomorrow night here, and Bud Norris is his mound opponent. That's a 7:10 start. Then Thursday at 1:10, it's another right-hander for the Rays, Chris Archer and Jordan Lyles. Myers pulled his right foot out of the way. Whoa, they got him on a swing, and Bob Davidson with the call. Myers striking out to make it a 1-2-3 third. Joe Madden looking dazed and confused, and it is 1-0 Rays.
Carlos in the dugout earlier. It's the first time I've seen him today, so that means he must have just got in, getting hugs from his teammates. Also getting hugs from Ray's first base coach, George Hendrick. I've got a nice Bud Norris throwing sunflower seeds at me right now, but I'm going to keep my cool. But you can only imagine that the hugs will keep coming as he gets to see some of his former teammates. We were having a good time down here, Brownie, as he sees some of his former teammates here after the game. Back to you.
Bud throwing seeds? That's a first.
He got me in the forehead today. Oh, he's so proud of himself.
Well, it's that precision pitching.
Stay focused.
He knows that you can handle it, Julia. They're just testing your concentration, that's all.
I got this.
It's all in good fun.
Saw the police coming on the scene there. I hope they'll take care of business.
Oh, yeah. You gotta have an escort.
He told me to keep my focus. That's what I do.
You did.
I did.
1-0, the Rays lead, and Ronnie Cedeno, the DH, leads it off. He's hit well against left-handers this season. 327. There's strike one at 94, up around shoulder high. 236 overall for Ronnie, 1 homer, 12 runs batted in. The Astros, as a team, have hit 257 against lefties. The leading batting average against lefties, Brandon Barnes, 349. Cedeno is second at 327. But Cedeno is facing this lefty for the first time. And it's 0-2. You can kind of hear David Price grunting as he unloads that pitch.
Been pretty steadily right there at 95. Occasionally below by a tick.
Strike three, call, and it's strikeout number 3. Astros Trivia is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. See what we have for you tonight, Ash. Carlos Pena is the Rays' all-time leader with 163 home runs. Name the only other 2 active players who lead a franchise's all-time home run list.
You're going to have to give me a little time here.
All right.
How are you doing on this one?
Well, I've seen it.
Oh, so I bet you're doing pretty well then.
Well, not as well as you would think, because it was a few hours ago. Matt Dominguez takes strike one, 229.
All-time home run leaders for a franchise.
Yes.
That are still active.
They're still active.
Well, A-Rod has to be for Texas Rangers, maybe?
No. I think National League West Mountains.
Well,
1 ball, 1 strike.
Tulowitzki going to be
Mr. Todd Helton.
Oh, that's right, of course. The retiring Todd Helton.
Yeah. So he's one of them. Foul back. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So Todd Helton, one of the 2.
Todd had he has something like 360 career home runs.
We're not necessarily talking about guys that are still active for that franchise, are we?
They may not be active for that franchise, as Carlos Pena is not active for the Tampa Bay Rays, but still is their all-time home run leader. Tap foul. And it's still 1-2. Pretty good question, though, right?
Each one has been good.
How about Andy Pettitte setting the Yankees all-time strikeout record last night?
Whitey Ford no longer the king in strikeouts?
Boy. That's a huge career achievement for Andy.
And he picked up just 2 strikeouts last night.
That's strike 3, and that's the 4th strikeout for Price.
I don't know what's happening here on 2 strikes. Guys are just locking up. This fastball was aimed at the inside corner, but looked like it might have run back to the plate a bit.
Toyota will tell us who those 2 other active players are who lead their franchises in all-time home runs. We know that Todd Helton is one, and Dan Uggla is the other one, 154 with the Marlins.
That surprises me.
Playing now with the Braves. Yep. Jimmy Paredes is the batter. Switch hitter, and He grounds one to the left of the shortstop. Good play there by Escobar. Escobar fires, but the first baseman, Loney, was pulled off the bag, and Paredes was able to beat it at first. And it's ruled a hit. Hit number 2 for the Astros.
Escobar's got plenty of tools to make this play. Not an easy play at all, and he got himself pretty well set to make the throw. Has a good, strong throwing arm. Just left it up. Good for Jimmy.
He hustled.
Sounds like a Seinfeld episode.
Could be. He's aboard with 2 steals and 4 tries. Escobar unable to get that final out of the inning on that play. Now it's Elmore batting. Elmore grounded out to second. Well, the trades have already started today. We looked at the 2 that have already been made, Ash. So now, boy, there are all kinds of rumors out there. And now that the Cubs have pulled the trigger on one of those deals, will it be Matt Garza going next or Jeff Samardzija?
You know, if you could feel like Matt Garza could become more of a consistent guy with his stuff, he'd be a great acquisition.
Loney with a throw, and there's the tag. And Paredes is out on the tag by Zobrist on a 1-3-4 play to end the 3rd inning with no runs, a hit, nobody left. 1-0 Tampa Bay after 3.
Orbit welcomes us back here. Rays up 1-0 in the 4th. Swing for the fences with the new Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. Available on iPhone and iPad. Download free today, guys.
Thanks, Julia. There is a wild swing by Yunel Escobar. Home Run Derby. It's a 1-0 game, and that run was provided by Will Myers on a sac fly in the 1st inning. Loney and Molina to follow Escobar. And that one, the breaking ball goes for ball 1. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Escobar, the type of shortstop who can be certainly above average offensively for the Rays. That's in for a strike, and it's 1-2.
You know, he's one of those players, Escobar, that has had a reputation that he can't get along with teammates and that he wears out the welcome quickly. I don't know that that's the case, that at least with the experience I had with him in Toronto.
Okay.
And yet, yes, he did leave some players wanting a little bit more from Escobar, a very talented player, but a nice young man.
That's in the air to right field. Jimmy Paredes. Around number 1 for the Blue Jays tonight only got an inning and 2/3 out of their starter. Chen-Man Wong gave up 6 runs to Detroit. And they're tied now 6-6, moving to the 7th in Toronto at Rogers Center. And Miguel Cabrera hit a home run, number 26, off Wong. He's driven in 3 tonight. He's at it again, so he has 26 homers, 85 runs batted in. Ash.
Insane. Yeah, that was a 3-run home run. And the guy's just incredible. And he'll hit it to any part of the ballpark. Nice, easy swing.
James Loney looks at ball 1.
It's incredible because you watch him, Cabrera, and that swing provides him that 360, 70, 80 type batting average possibility while hitting home runs.
Loney's on a 12-game hitting streak, and he's hit 365 against lefties. It's 2-0 to James. Colby Rasmus hit his 15th homer tonight for Toronto. Doug Fister still in the game after giving up 6 earned runs in 6 innings for Detroit. Strike makes it 2-1. White Sox might be dangling Jake Peavy out there. According to one story, he's open to being traded.
Outside of Chris Sale, who would they not dangle?
Probably only Paul Konerko if he did not want to be traded.
Yeah, I saw his name involved in that as well, and I imagine that's just to kind of keep the guy that's had such a great career in the fold.
Brewers and Nationals are scoreless. They're in the last of the 3rd. Willie Peralta pitching for the Brewers. They have really slumped. Foul back. They're probably going to be sellers according to some of the articles. And according to one story today, they are seriously weighing a trade of their 27-year-old staff ace, Giovanni Gallardo. Beautiful sky out there. Gorgeous.
Looked a little earlier like might be some rain possibilities. That would be nice.
This weekend, the chances are about 50%. Until then, good luck. That's lined out to the gap in left center field. That will be in. It'll be picked up by J.D. Martinez, and he throws into second base on the single by Loney, giving him a 13-game hitting streak.
Hasn't hurt him a bit this year that he's found that stroke in particular against left-hand pitching. Yeah, this is really something. He couldn't please anybody in L.A. last couple of years. Hit, I believe, 230 last year for the Dodgers, and now suddenly he's got a 13-game hitting streak. He leads Tampa Bay in terms of that steady hitting.
Yeah, he's been a big offensive factor for their club. Driven in 41 runs, scored 36. Jose Molina is the batter. Molina hit a fly ball to right. He moves his arms out of the way on ball 1 upstairs for Eric Bedard.
See where Rick Porcello, pitcher for the Tigers, has been suspended 6 games for throwing at Ben Zobrist.
Yep. Well, I think that's appropriate.
Yep. That was payback time, and yet when you go after payback time, you're going to pay the price.
Reds have a no-hitter going to the top of the 7th inning for Homer Bailey. No walks and 7 strikeouts for a homer. They have a perfect game going. We'll have to check on that. And the hapless Giants, 39 and 43, maybe in need of a little revitalization. 2 balls, no strikes. They're only 3 games out, though, but they've lost 8 of their last 10. Having some problems scoring runs this year. 3 balls, no strikes. Typically, they don't score a lot of runs anyway.
You talk about an offense that's led by Buster Posey, obviously, Pablo Sandoval, Marco Scudero, and Hunter Pence.
Bailey has not given up a hit. He has not walked anybody. He's thrown 73 pitches through 6 innings.
7 strikeouts for Bailey.
You heard he just walked somebody. There is a walk here to Molina. First and second now, 1 out for Johnson. That's the 4th walk for Bedard. And now, as Tampa Bay has left 2 men on in the first, 2 in the second, they have 2 men on here in the 4th inning after Bedard had a 1-2-3 third. He's facing Johnson for the 2nd time. Johnson singled to center field in the 2nd inning. Kyle Loesch might be one of those guys the Brewers move on to a contending team. So stay tuned. We have 29 days left in July. They're in the top of the 7th, and Homer Bailey with that no-hitter going with a 3-0 lead. 7 strikeouts. And he just walked Gregor Blanco. So he's the first base runner against Homer Bailey in that game. Mariners lead at Texas 3-1. They're in the top of the 4th inning. Raul Ibanez hit his 20th. Kendrys Morales, number 10. Kelly Johnson takes that one, and it's ball 1.
Think the Yankees might like to have that guy back?
Oh boy, 20 home runs, and yeah, with their lack of power and all the injuries they've had, sure they'd like to have him back.
He was kind of the king of the postseason last year for New York.
It sure was. It's 2-0.
Didn't think they'd ever trade Mr. October.
The Phillies lead the Pirates 3-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning at the home of the best team in baseball, PNC Park. Pirates have a 6:30. When have we ever said that?
20 years ago.
Wow.
21, whatever it's been.
Yeah, they weren't in PNC Park then. 2 balls and a strike. That's crazy.
High fastball blown on by.
Boudreau says 1987.
That's the last time.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Well, it might be 1979, actually.
Boy, that was a good year. Pirates are 51-30 with a .630 winning percentage. Nobody in the American League is over 600. And only St. Louis at .605 in the National League is above a 600 winning percentage, putting the Cardinals 2 behind Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati trails by 5. Pirates have won 9 in a row now.
Just got a text from the Sisters Sledge. They said they were the best in 1979, without a doubt.
Altuve to his left. Throws to Carter to get the out at first. That's out number 2. Maloney to third, Molina to second. Sister Sledge. How many plays of that We Are Family song do you think they got in that ballpark?
Not quite as many as Yankee Stadium gets of Frank Sinatra singing.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. New York, New York.
Yeah. Desmond Jennings opened the game with a single, came around to score on a sac fly by Will Myers. Then he struck out looking in the 2nd inning. Altuve lays out for it, can't stop it from going through into right field. 1 runner home. Here's the throw offline. It's going to be a 2-run hit, and 3-0 as Jennings winds up at second base. That throw from Paredes well up the line toward third, and Jennings was able to get into second after driving in a couple to give him 32 runs batted in.
Fundamentals. Don't know that you can prevent any runs right here in terms of the play itself, but boy, oh boy, when you see this kind of a play, cutoff man not hit, throw way off line, catcher having to sprint up the third base line, something's not happening right.
He takes off for third now. Here's the throw from Corcoran. The tag by Dominguez safe, and a steal of third base by Jennings. His 10th steal of the year.
Jennings certainly helping his own stats. I don't know how much that play factors in here in this ball game for the Rays.
Pitch was ball one. That one nearly hit Rodriguez. 2 balls, no strikes. Bo Porter's club falling behind 3-0. That would be a 2-run single by Jennings, and then he went to second on the throw, and then he stole third. Zobrist is on deck. Two and one for Eric Bedard. Eric won a 4-3 game over St. Louis last time out, giving up 3 runs in 6 innings. In tight for ball 3. His last 3 starts here at home have been superb. He's given up a total of 4 earned runs in 21 and a third innings.
Numbers on the road nowhere close, but those numbers were abused. His 3rd start of the year, 1/3 of an inning in Oakland, and gave up 6 earned runs.
That's ball 4. Rodriguez takes the walk. 5 for Bedard. That's the first time he's walked 5 since he faced Oakland here May 24th. And that ties his high in a game this year. Doug Rocaille comes out. You know, he's pitched so well at home. Bedard has a 2.48 home ERA. The struggles like he's having tonight with his command have been exceptionally rare.
It's like a bit of a lighthearted moment there with Doug Rocaille, and you have to have those on the hill. Just loosen it up. Come on, let it fly.
3 earned runs allowed in this game. He has not allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start at home this year. And for the first time all season, he gave up 3 last time out, and that was in 6 innings. So inside Minute Maid Park, it's 3-0. 4 hits for the Rays. They've also received 5 walks, so that's 9 base runners for them in 3 2/3 innings for Bedard. And Zobrist is the batter. He has fly to center and popped to short. Batting average against Bedard has been .260 this season. Jennings gets that walking lead off third. Pitch in tight, ball 1. And he came off there with a businesslike walk toward home plate. Pretty aggressive after stealing third. Acting like he might want to take some liberties or just be ready for a possible wild pitch. It's 1-1.
I don't think Jennings is realistically thinking about trying to steal home. Certainly not in this scenario with Zobrist at the plate. But if you do have that legitimately on your mind and you're a good base thief, having a left-hand pitcher on the mound is not a bad time to think about it.
Popped up. Dominguez comes in calling. And in the 4th inning, the Tampa Bay Rays get 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 2. They lead it 3-0.
The game, and it's from the Astros. They write, Chris Carter got a surprise today from his old TBA club. You see there the tiny bobblehead. It's a miniature bobblehead he's holding that from Sacramento Rivercats. That's the TBA team he played for when he was with A's. Over 4 years there, though, he hit 65 bombs, and so they love them some Chris Carter. That was Sunday that they had this day, and they sent him a big package of them. So it was a good day for Chris Carter, guys.
Nice. Yeah, he dwarfs that little bobblehead in his hand. Well, he's looking on as Elmore leads it off here in the home fourth inning. The Astros trail it 3-0. They've been out hit 4-2. Jake hit a ground ball to short to second base rather in the first inning. Price has faced the minimum even though he has allowed 2 singles. There's a strike to Elmore. Martinez got a hit in the second, but he was erased on a double play ball. Paredes got a hit in the third, and he was caught stealing. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So we'll know the identity pretty soon of the All-Stars. Latest All-Star voting being released today. It's 2 balls and a strike. In the American League, Joe Mauer leads at catcher. Chris Davis at first. Robinson Cano at second. Miguel Cabrera at third. J.J. Hardy at shortstop. David Ortiz at DH. The outfielders are Mike Trout, Adam Jones, and Jose Bautista. Nick Markakis is within reach. So is Torrey Hunter. And for that matter, Nelson Cruz could make it. Rolled out to second. Thrown on to first by Zobrist, 1 out.
That's a pretty good sounding club.
Yeah. Paul White came out with his projected American League roster in USA Today. And he projects Jason Castro as an all-star.
Love to see it happen.
He has Joe Mauer and Jason as the 2 American League catchers.
You know, somebody has to make it from every club, and I would think Jason Castro and I don't know, Bud Norris might be the leading candidates for the Astros.
Jose Altuve grounded out in the second inning. Get this, he has 3 first basemen and 2 are from Toronto. Adam Lind and Edwin Encarnacion. Of course, one could be the DH, but DH is David Ortiz. He's going to be the DH, right?
Without a doubt. Yeah, Adam Lind's had a strong surge here in the first half. Edwin Encarnacion, big home run hitter who hit 40 bombs a year ago. So I would think Edwin might have the edge there because of what he's done last year.
Strike to Altuve. It's 0-2. Chris Davis hit his 31st home run.
It's insane what he's doing.
He's on a Roger Maris home run pace.
Look, you and I had a chance to vote for Player of the Month in the American League. And you look at the numbers of Miguel Cabrera, and he's hard to pass up. But Chris Davis's numbers might be more eye-popping, not in terms of the batting average, but everything else.
Yeah, for the month of June, I voted for Davis.
Yep, I did as well.
1-2 to Altuve.
Maybe because we've grown to expect what Miguel Cabrera does, I don't know, but just amazing stuff.
2-2 in that Baltimore ballpark. Oh, Chris Davis has a tremendous advantage with those very easily reachable power alleys in left center and right center, and down the right field line too.
Detroit for Cabrera pretty fair straight away and to the gaps a bit, but from gap to gap in center field, one of the toughest ballparks in baseball.
Altuve's down on strikes. That's number 5 for Price.
Jose Altuve has had his struggles here over the last month plus.
35 pitches is all for David Price. 24 of them strikes. Chris Carter has reached base in 14 straight games. He struck out in the first inning. Ground ball in the hole. Yunel Escobar throwing, and what a play by Escobar to get Carter. And that ends the 4th inning in spectacular fashion as Escobar throws out Carter from deep in the hole. Tampa Bay leads it 3-0. July 2nd, 2009. In the top of the ninth at San Diego, the game is delayed for 52 minutes when a swarm of bees moves into left field and begins nesting in the jacket of a ball girl. She had long blonde hair. The Astros go on to win 7-2.
I don't see that part about the long blonde hair, but do you think that was a factor?
There's the bee game.
Oh, my goodness.
In San Diego. What a mess.
And you guys let a little thing like that make the game have to delay?
Well, we had to get a beekeeper in there. There's a shot on the ground past a diving Matt Dominguez. And a hit for Evan Longoria, leading it off here in the 5th inning. He runs gingerly up the first base line with that foot injury. And they do the sign of the bow and arrow back to their bench when they get a hit, huh?
You've got a lot of arrows in that quiver for Tampa Bay.
Fernando Rodney, their closer, does that sign after he gets a save. So Longoria gets hit number 5, and Will Myers is the batter. Myers has hit a sac fly, and he is struck out. All 5 hits have been singles. There's a fly ball to right. Jimmy Paredes over to his right. And that's out number 1. Hey, Bill Dawley's in the ballpark, you were saying tonight.
He just sent you a hello, by the way, and I hope he's watching and listening right now.
Former Astro All-Star pitcher.
Yep.
And former golf observer.
Ooh, he used to go on the golf course with some of us, Mike Scott, and I would go out, and Doggy would just be our commentator on the course. And he had a voice that could carry like Vavoom from back in the old cartoon days, and it was some kind of special with Doggy out there.
Was he kind of like Gary McCord?
A bit like that. Well, see, McCord could keep it under wraps a bit.
Okay.
About waxing and all that sort of thing. You want to see defense. This guy can make it at shortstop. Great throwing arm. Didn't even have a real easy, clean transfer into that right hand and still got it done. That's some kind of great play.
Escobar looks at it. It's ball 2. 2-0. So Dawley, would he be like one of those guys who's behind Tiger Woods every time he tees off in a par 3? That's in the hole.
Well, you would know when it was Doggy, that's for sure. But Bill Dawley and Frank LaCourty and some of the boys of that time. Great memories.
It's 3-0.
Dawley's a very successful businessman here in Houston these days.
He travels a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to play in many golf tournaments anymore. How about Frank DiPino? Was he part of that group?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Frank was a big part of that group.
But relief pitchers really seldom play golf on the day of a game, right? Or did Frank?
That's the way you want to run with that story. That's the way we'll go right now, Ken.
Well, I've got one for you on that.
Yeah.
Regarding a backup catcher.
I know one backup cat. Well, he wasn't always backup either.
Who?
But Beetle Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
Was a heck of a golfer. Probably still is.
But now Beetle would know that you would be catching, so he could go out and play some golf that day, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, it went both ways, but Beach can really swing the stick.
Well, back in the 1970s, Johnny Bench was the Reds catcher, and Bill Plummer was his backup. Bill Plummer hardly ever played. He was behind a Hall of Fame catcher, so he had lots of downtime.
He's behind one of the greats of all time.
Yeah. That's a walk number 6 for Eric Bedard. And his pitch count is up in the mid-80s now, as you can see. So,
are you aware of how wrong it felt to be the other catcher on the field when Johnny Bench was catching on that opposing team?
It had to be. Had to be very intimidating. That's a career high 6 walks in a game for Eric Bedard. And now it's James Loney. Loney has received one of those walks. He's also singled to left center field. So Bill Plummer, every now and then, and it wasn't very often, used to sneak out with a few of us who would play tennis. And that was taboo. But he just wanted to get a little exercise in, and he liked tennis.
You sound to me like you're covering for the guy, like he might get fined tonight if the skip finds out.
Well, he could have gotten fined, but we wouldn't be allowed to tell Sparky Anderson about this.
You don't think Sparky would have gone for that, huh?
Not a bit.
Would have turned his hair white?
Yep. He had a good serve, too.
Bill Brown, a heck of a tennis player. Not to mention golfer.
I was the Bill Dawley. I was just calling lines. Fouled for strike one. Bill Plummer, according to Phil Boudreau, has 3 World Series rings and never played in a World Series game. How about that one?
Hang around the really good ones and don't let them get away from you. Keep them in your sight. Dave Smith, another one of those relievers from that day, and a great one in Astros lore.
Bounce, Altuve to his right. There's the shovel toss. Elmore firing on to Carter. 4-4-6-3 double play. The Astros 92nd of the year. No runs a hit. A man left. Middle of the 5th inning. Altuve starts it. Elmore delivers. 3-0 Tampa Bay.
MLB All-Star Game at Citi Field in New York. The best players from the American League take on the best in the National League to compete for home field advantage in the World Series. Brownie, is this where I say #vote Altuve, #vote Castro?
Yes, you do. You're all over it, Julia. Thank you. And I vote for a while. The players have already sent in their ballots. Bottom of the 5th inning coming here. The Astros are trailing 3-0 with the reigning Cy Young Award winner on the mound. That makes it difficult, but it'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Martinez, Corcoran, and Barnes coming up here in the 5th inning. Martinez had a sharp single to the left of the shortstop in the 2nd inning, but he was erased on a double play ball. There's ball one. We were mentioning Paul White in USA Today had his projected American League All-Star roster. Julia, he had at second base Robinson Cano, Jason Kipnis, and Dustin Pedroia. At shortstop, J.J. Hardy and Johnny Peralta. At third, Miguel Cabrera, Evan Longoria, Manny Machado, and Josh Donaldson. In the air, and the second sacker, Zobrist is back. So at 4 third basemen. And then he had in the outfield Mike Trout, Adam Jones, Nelson Cruz, Jose Bautista, Coco Crisp, Brett Gardner.
Who was that first third baseman?
First third baseman was Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, that's a given. Manny Machado, only because it's Miguel Cabrera ahead of him, would be next for me. I mean, he's been so deserving this year.
Yeah, he really has. Carlos Corcoran struck out looking in the 2nd inning. DH David Ortiz. Starting pitchers Max Scherzer, Detroit, Felix Hernandez, Seattle, Hisashi Iwakuma, Seattle, Yu Darvish, Texas, Bartolo Colon, Oakland. Strike one. Chris Sale, Chicago White Sox. Justin Masterson, Cleveland. In the bullpen, he's got the Yankees Mariano Rivera, Rangers Joe Nathan, the White Sox Jesse Crain, the Twins Glenn Perkins, the Royals Greg Holland. That's one guy's idea of the All-Star roster, with the final vote involving 5 other players. The fans would vote. Bouncer up the middle into center. Escobar was just jumping up and down, and then started trotting over towards second base. That's kind of weird. Corcoran on with a 1-out single. That's hit number 3.
Cork just finds a big gap right there and shoots it up the middle.
Look at Escobar. What's he doing?
It's just little stuff like that actually, in my opinion, starts grating on teammates.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know that Escobar could have done anything with that play, but sometimes it just looks wrong.
Didn't look like he could have, but it sure looked like he wasn't trying either. Yeah, Brandon Barnes. He bounced into a 5-4-3 double play. He looks at a strike.
You see where the White Sox front office apparently just got physically much stronger. Future Hall of Famer is joining in.
Yeah, Jim Thome.
Yep.
What is he, a special assistant?
I think that's what they're saying. I never am quite sure how that ultimately plays out for an organization.
It's 1-1. They might blow up that White Sox club, you know.
It's probably in a lot of White Sox fans' minds a little late in coming.
Ronnie Cedeno's on deck. Johnson even with the bag at third for Barnes. He hits it in the air to the center fielder. Desmond Jennings comes in. That's 2 outs. Astros made a trade with the Cubs today. They got minor league infielder Ronald Torreyes from the Cubs. He's 20 years old. He was playing for AA Tennessee. And Jose Altuve is very excited about the acquisition of Torreyes. He knows it. Cedeno struck out looking in the 3rd. So we haven't heard whether he's going to Corpus Christi or where he's going yet. And they traded national signing pool space for an international signing pool space. These trades are getting complex now with the new rules.
International pool space to be named later.
Yeah. The Astros signed 4 international free agents today. 2 from Venezuela, 2 from the Dominican, as the international signing period opened today. There's ball 1.
Well, you look around Major League Baseball and look at players that have come from what would be that international draft, and these guys in many cases are dominating what's going on in baseball.
Do you know any of these guys, Ash?
Not a bit. Not a bit. I have not been hanging in that crowd.
It's 2 balls, no strikes. Have you been reading international free agent journals?
Yeah, but you know, I forget what I read immediately. You? Does it stick with you?
No. These guys are 16 years old.
Maybe.
Let's hope. It's 2 balls and a strike to Ronnie Cedeno.
Some of those names may change in the future to protect the not so innocent.
Well, they have in the past, that's for sure. Including tomorrow night's starter for Tampa Bay. All right.
That is right.
Okay. 2-2. So what's so funny?
That was well played.
Okay.
Sometimes you come up with cards
you drop on the table that I didn't anticipate.
The brand new Xfinity Zone opened today. It's an interactive fan destination here at Minute Maid Park. They had the ribbon cutting ceremony with Astros president Reed Ryan today on the concourse level behind home plate near the Diamond Club entrance. And a Comcast official was there. They get the big scissors out, snip that ribbon. And it's a place you can go if you have the Infinity merchandise to, well, you can look at an iPad, take care of your phone, you can sit on a nice couch, watch games, recharge. Strike 3. And strikeout number 6. And it's no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left after 5. 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Save money and have fun with Astros baseball. Whether you're treating your employees, hosting clients, or bringing out your church or youth sports team, we will create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to enjoy special pricing and great benefits by reserving your group or suite today. Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. A couple more games left for you to enjoy. Things like a suite. Tomorrow night, the matchup is Bud Norris and Roberto Hernandez, and Thursday afternoon, Jordan Lyles and Chris Archer. July 4th holiday, and they're saying hello from their suite. Eric Bedard moves to inning number 6, and he has allowed only singles, 5 of them. He's been battling control issues with 6 walks. Got a double play to end the 5th inning. Trailing 3-0. He gets strike 1 from Molina. Molina hit a fly ball to right, and he walked and scored. You guys will be packing your bags again soon, Ash, for that trip. 3-city trip. Arlington, Texas, St. Louis, Missouri, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Could be warm. Hopefully the bats heat up.
Yeah. Whoa! That bat took off.
Oh.
That was a projectile over the Tampa Bay dugout. Making sure everybody's okay down there as Molina gets a new weapon.
Cannot say enough how careful you have to be when you're not behind a screen here at the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've got children around you, do everything you can.
It's great to be close to the action, but yeah, it requires vigilance as well. Red Sox lead the Padres 4-1 in Boston. How's that Homer Bailey no-hitter coming? It's 3-0. He has the no-hitter in the top of the 9th inning. And he's just starting the ninth. He's facing Brandon Crawford and has an 0-2 count on him, leading 3-0. And the last no-hitter in the major leagues was pitched by Homer Bailey last September against Pittsburgh. Well, that would be very unusual to have 2 consecutive no-hitters in the majors.
Has anybody done that?
Well, I'm pretty sure Johnny Vandermeer did, because
I was just about to say, since Vandermeer's back-to-back jobs.
Yeah. Since then, maybe not. 2-2. Johnny Vandermeer pitched no-hitters in consecutive starts. That's out toward right center field. Barnes will have to run back for this one. That'll go all the way to the wall. Molina heads for second base, and that's all he's interested in. It's a double for him, number 7 of the year. Lead-off 2-base hit, the first extra base hit of this game.
It's been a bit more methodical here this evening for Tampa Bay offensively. Eric Bedard, with all the walks you've talked about, has still found a way to keep things quiet enough.
Now he's being threatened with Johnson, the batter. He's hit number 6. Johnson has one of those, a single in the second. He grounded out in the 4th. Bedard looks back at Molina. They're going to appeal at first that he missed the base, and he did not, according to Bob Davidson. Now Bo Porter's going to come out, and this is getting interesting.
Looked like Bob Davidson saying, "I saw," and officially he should be watching very closely for that. Yeah, he gets that inside corner.
Yep.
And technically, that's the way you should run the bases. To make sure you get enough that it's obvious.
Homer Bailey got the first out in the 9th. And ground out to Brandon Crawford. Now he's facing Tony Abreu, a pinch hitter. Johnson looks at ball 1. Johnny Vandermeer, I had a chance to meet him and do an interview with him once upon a time about those back-to-back no-hitters.
Wow. What do you have to say about that?
Well, a hot shot, backhanded. Altuve lays out for it, throws from a knee. Oh, what a sparkling play by Altuve. We're out number 1. Molina to third base, but that takes care of a big out.
Jose Altuve continues to get it done defensively. As he sprawls out there, not completely laid in the direction of the baseball, kind of angling towards center field.
Now runner at third, and they meet at the mound with the bullpen busy for Houston. And the infield will come in for Desmond Jennings. Jennings has 2 hits and 2 runs batted in this game. So with a 3-0 lead for the Rays, this runner at third is an important one. Bo Porter calls time, goes to the mound. And he's going to go out to the pen and bring in a right-hander. That'll be it for Eric Bedard. At 95 pitches, he's coming out. Josh Fields has been warming up. So Bedard walks off the mound with a score. Tampa Bay 3, Houston 0, back in 1. Fields comes out of the bullpen for Houston. Try to prevent that runner from scoring. It'll be righty on righty as he faces Desmond Jennings. Jennings is 2 for 3 in the game with 2 runs batted in. And Fields hoping to get a strikeout, a pop-up, something that would fail to advance Molina. He has a 4.35 ERA. Grounded right at somebody. Molina very slow at third base. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts in 10 1/3 innings for Josh Fields.
Yeah, I would say the Astros infield doesn't need to play even this far in to be able to cut down the run at the plate. Molina doesn't run well at all.
No hitter for Homer Bailey. A 3-0 win over the Giants in Cincinnati.
How about that? A second no hitter of his career.
No hitter in that ballpark. That is something.
You know, that's the 7th no hitter since Philip Humber threw his perfect game last year, April 21st.
Wow. Breaking ball stays high for Fields. That makes it a 2-ball, no strike count. Sean Rodriguez is on deck.
That's a lot of no-nos being thrown in a little over a year.
A lot of dominant games. Fields pitched in the Angels series, giving up a run in 2 innings. His last time out. That's foul back. 2 balls and a strike.
Is that Steve Sparks on his birthday getting a foul ball?
Well, let's hope so, because Sparky should have a special day on his birthday.
Wow. You have to put in a submission.
Steve. 13th birthday today, we're told on the notes.
He's going to be something when he's full grown.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2. Well, he had a conversation with Joe Madden yesterday about knuckleball pitching. And Joe was finding out, well, how do you offensively, how do you go to work against a knuckleball pitcher? What do you do to beat him?
Sparky's supposed to have the answers to that question.
He had the answers.
Yeah.
Joe Madden, yes, he told him. Told him what to do. High ball deep left field. That'll leave. That's a long 2-run shot by Jennings, number 10 of the year, and he has a 4 RBI game. 5-0 Rays as Jennings drives one. That gets him to 34 runs batted in for the season. That was a tape measure shot. Very impressive swing by Jennings.
Now look, Eric Bedard didn't have a great night tonight, but it is always tough when you leave men on base and the bullpen comes in and gives up those runs. And this shot makes it very official.
Yeah, first time he's given up as many as 4 runs in a game at home all year. Now it's 5-0 as Bedard watches. And Matt Joyce comes up. He's pinch hitting for Sean Rodriguez. He shoots one high to right field. Jimmy Paredes back underneath it. 2 down. And we see the Homer Bailey no-hitter. What a show for Homer Bailey, Texas-born pitcher. Ben Zobrist the batter, and there's ball 1 to him.
Quite remarkable, a guy that's thrown back-to-back no-hitters in the big leagues.
He's from LaGrange, Texas, not far from here at all. 16th no-hitter in Reds history, the first this season and the first since his last no-hitter September 28th against the Pirates 2012. Special moment in LaGrange, Texas. They're celebrating there right now.
So he has now thrown numbers 15 and 16 in Cincinnati Reds history.
Yeah, Johnny Vandermeer had those back-to-back no-hitters in 1938. One was in Cincinnati. One was the first night game in Brooklyn. First came under the lights there. Off the mound, it goes to the shortstop. And there's a throw over first by Elmore. And in the 6th inning, the Rays come up with 2 runs, 2 hits. They lead it now 5-0.
This is Nick that I'm with. He's from Montgomery. He's enjoying summer by coming to some baseball games. Nick, who is your favorite baseball player?
Craig Biggio.
I knew that was coming. Great answer. Are you having a good time today?
Yes.
All right. Who are you with?
My dad.
Yeah. What are you doing this week? I hear it's a big week for you.
I'm going out to Georgia.
With your grandparents to visit log cabins and do all kinds of stuff?
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, why didn't we get a summer? That's what I want to do. Here you go. Congratulations, Brownie.
Yeah, summer's flying by you, Julia. Sounds like a plan. It's 5-0 as David Price takes the mound for the bottom of the 6th inning. Matt Dominguez facing him, and Price has allowed only 3 singles in this game tonight. There's ball 1. Dominguez struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Johnny Vandermeer with those back-to-back no-hitters. You see him at choice in left field. That was in 1938, and that was his first full season in the big leagues. He had to battle wildness, left-hander, and so that's one record that will never be broken. No hitters in consecutive starts. Well, in the first no hitter, June 11th at Crosley Field against the Boston Bees, he walked 3, struck out 4. No Boston player even made it past first base, so he was dominant. Dominguez with the fly ball that goes out toward the center fielder, and Jennings is there. That's out number 1. In the second no-hitter, it was quite a bit more difficult. It was 4 days later in Brooklyn, the first night game at Ebbets Field. He walked 8 and struck out 7. He had some spectacular plays by his teammates. And then he walked the bases loaded in the 9th, but popped up Leo DeRocher to end the ball game.
Sounds like an A.J. Burnett no-hitter.
It really does, doesn't it? So, yeah, that's what he talked about when we did that interview many years ago, how wild he was in that first night game at Ebbets Field.
It's surprising that he'd be wild or maybe a bit tired after getting 3 days rest.
Yeah, 3 days rest, yeah. Strike 1 to Paredes, who got the single shortstop in the 3rd. And in one of those no-hitters, and I don't know which one, the first ever manager of the Houston Colt 45s, Harry Kraft, caught a ball in center field for the final out. Checking his swing. Paredes goes to a 1-1 count. And now it's really going to be tough here for the Astros. With Price spotted this 5-run lead. Cruising along, and he's only thrown 53 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. It's 1-2.
There's a changeup, and you don't talk about it a whole lot with David Price, but when he starts feeling it, he can deal with a nice changeup. You can see likely the circle change as he had the baseball in the final 3 fingers of that left hand. Made it look easy tonight.
That's strike 3. That's his 7th strikeout. Five of the 7 have been called.
Inside corner, puts it right on the money.
Well, Price in his career has won 62 and lost 35. First player drafted in 07. So people are dreaming that maybe Mark Appel could follow this same course. Elmore has bounced out twice to second base. That's ball 1. The Rays lost the first 5 starts this year of David Price. He had not been on the DL in his career until he just came off the disabled list stint with a strained triceps. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That 2007 year for Tampa Bay's Devil Rays, and that was the last year they were the D-Rays, was the last year they would finish last in the American League East. 10 consecutive years, only 1 year did they manage to get 1 spot above the last place finish. And then along came David Price and company, and they got a lot better.
You have that big left arm in his case. Right arm in Mark Appel's case. Turning into a #1 starter. That can really help produce a turnaround on a club. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You know, one of the scouts whose opinion I value with another organization said that he has not seen a position player in the minor leagues as good as George Springer this year.
I find that very easy to believe.
He hasn't seen all the players. Struck him out looking. That's number 8. And after 6, David Price and the Rays lead the Astros 5-0. Have gotten a big night from their leadoff man, Desmond Jennings. 3 hits, a homer, 4 runs batted in. The Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index shows you the Astros minor league pitching situation. Vincent Velasquez, who's somebody with a terrific arm, at Quad Cities last week in 9 innings. Had a walk and 16 strikeouts with an ERA of 1. And you see a couple of the other outstanding pitchers and what they did in the Astros minors last week. And now the Pacific Coast League All-Stars have included Jared Cosart at AAA Oklahoma City and Jason Stoffel, who's been in the bullpen for the Red Hawks. The outstanding season's underway. Congratulations to them for being named All-Stars in the PCL. That's ball 1 to Longoria. Longoria has a walk and a single. Fields slots the fastball there at 94 over the outside edge to even the count at 1-1. That's in for strike 2. 1-2 to Longoria.
A lot of guys putting together solid seasons on the minor league side.
Ground ball goes wide of third. Still 1-2. Mike Fultonevich, the pitcher who's been promoted from Lancaster to Corpus Christi during this season, was the other player named by this scout we were talking about at the end of the last inning, and he said he has not seen a minor league pitcher as good this year as Mike Fultonevich. Now again, he hasn't seen everybody in the minors. He's only watching certain organizations. But that's pretty good praise with Springer and Fultonevich being named.
Well, those are the two guys that, for the time being, really have my attention and my anxiousness to see them at some point.
Longoria strikes out.
Get that high fastball. So many guys just can't lay off.
Steve Sparks is sharing a birthday with Thurgood Marshall, Larry David, Jose Canseco. There's ball 1.
Larry David, you say that might explain some things.
And Lindsey Lohan, also NASCAR driver Richard Petty.
So you've got Larry David and Lindsey Lohan on your birthday, huh?
Yeah. Nice. Smash to Elmore. Elmore takes care of out number 2. It's a rather eclectic group there with Sparky. Sparky, 13 years old, is that right?
That's what we're being told.
He
seems a little mature for that age.
Yeah.
Physically.
Told on the Astros game notes today. Sparks celebrates 13th birthday. So
we'll have to check that one out.
Not sure if those are dog years or what type of years we're talking about here. Escobar is 0 for 2 with a walk. Josh Fields delivers ball 1. The new man in the bullpen tonight is lefty Brett Oberholzer, who came from the Atlanta Braves in a trade, and he's been starting at Oklahoma City. Hector Ambrose went to Oklahoma City after last night's game. Foul back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. So that gives the Astros a left-handed arm, and there he is warming up right now in their bullpen, and he could be a long man, and Bo Porter said he wants to keep Brett Oberholzer stretched out for those possible longer relief assignments. It's 2 balls and a strike to Escobar. Josh Fields in his Rule 5 season. Pop up. Here's Carter. Altuve. Carter gets it. It's a 1-2-3 7th inning and 5-0 Tampa Bay. Price is putting a damper on the evening.
He's had that fastball up around the 95 mark. He spotted it extremely well. Little cutter on the backdoor side. He's been finding the inside corner here last couple of innings steadily on the hitters, freezing them as you see strikeout after strikeout, and just no response for that pitch.
6 innings, 3 hits, and only 60 pitches for David Price with no walks. He struck out 8. The Astros were shut out last night on 2 hits. They have not scored since the 6th inning on Sunday. That's 18 innings without a run. Jose Altuve leads it off in the home 7th inning. He's grounded to third and struck out.
You know, this is a remarkable figure when you consider David Price through 6 innings, allowing 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, and just 60 pitches needed to go with 8 punch-outs.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's strike 1 to Altuve with all the strikeouts. Usually that would bring a higher pitch count than 60.
Look, you can talk all you want about let's make him work. All he's doing is putting you in a hole if you're trying to make him work, and he's pumping strikes.
Fouled away by Altuve. 4 balls, 2 strikes.
This is a version of the David Price that won that Cy Young Award last year and has also in his short career finished 2nd in that awards rankings.
Career ERA 3.29 for Price. That's up. The Astros only have 1 base runner who has reached 2nd in this series so far. Tonight they have 3 singles. One of those runners was erased on a double play ball, 1 on a caught stealing. So just 1 man left on base. He's faced 1 over the minimum. Altuve fouls it back to keep in there at 1 and 2. Tough sledding for these Astros hitters who started the night with a .236 team batting average, and they suffered through a lackluster month of June, averaging 3.3 runs per game offensively. They hit .212 as a team in June. They've been hitting under 200 for the last 10 days. That's strike 3, and it's strikeout number 9.
Yeah, the Yankees, Brownie, have fallen near the bottom in terms of team batting average, but the Astros have gone on by Seattle in that regard.
Of the 9 strikeouts, 7 have been called for David Price. Chris Carter has struck out and grounded to shortstop. Escobar made a wonderful play on him in the hole. The Mariners are clobbering the Rangers in Arlington, Texas, 9-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kendrys Morales has hit a pair of homers to give him 11. Foul back to strike 1. The Astros and Rangers will be going at it this weekend in Arlington, Texas, starting Friday night. Texas with the 5-1 record against Houston this year. Opening day was the Astros victory behind Bud Norris. Bud goes tomorrow night against Roberto Hernandez, formerly known as Fausto Carmona. No balls, 2 strikes. That's Joe Saunders going for Seattle. Justin Grimm left the game after 4 innings for Texas, giving up 5 earned runs. Lance Berkman still out of the lineup with knee problems. Ooh, that's 10 strikeouts now, 8 of them called.
Astros hitters have not been in favor of that paintbrush on the edges here of late. You just have to expand it. That little cutter finding the backdoor side, leaving guys completely frozen, as is the fastball on the inside corner.
Season high for Price for strikeouts in a game. It's only his 2nd career start against the Astros. The first came in May of 2010 at Minute Maid Park, and he won that one. They gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. 10-8 victory. Martinez looks at ball 1. JD has a single and 2 trips. Brewers 4, Nationals nothing, bottom of the 9th in Washington. Escobar for the 3rd out. We move to the 8th inning, and it's 5-0 Rays. Game set for the Rays. Coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with Astros pregame live, followed by the ball game itself. The Astros and Rays hooking up at 7 o'clock.
And let's take a look at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It'll be Roberto Hernandez, whatever name he goes by, 4.9 on the year. 4.98 is the ERA. Lost to the Toronto Blue Jays Wednesday in his last outing, working 8 innings in that one, pitching well. But Norris goes for the Astros. Talking about pitching well, he has pitched way better than that 5-7 mark. 3.35 the ERA, and no decision against the Angels over 7 innings of scoreless ball his last time out.
Brett Oberholzer comes in the game. He's been in one previous game for the Astros. Also at Oklahoma City, he's gone 5-6 with a 4.60 ERA. Second major league appearance for the 24-year-old lefty. He just turned 24 yesterday. He's from Christiana, Delaware, Seminole Community College in Florida. 8th round pick of Atlanta in 08, traded in the Michael Bourne deal. James Loney the batter. Loney takes it at strike 1. Loney has a hit and a walk tonight. In that Brewers Nationals game, it's 4-0 Brewers in Washington, bottom of the 9th inning. Steven Strasburg, 7 shutout innings tonight. But again, even though his ERA is 2.24, Strasburg comes away without a victory. Drew Storen gave up 4 in his 8th inning of work. And he is looking like the possible loser as of right now. It's 1-2 to Loney. Loney signed as a free agent with Tampa Bay. Rolls over on that one. Oberholzer over. And he'll take it. Jamie Wright's warming up for the Rays. It's 1 out. 1 unassisted play. We had that fetching photo of Jamie Wright last night on the Twitter feed. The Tampa Bay travel outfits. Wearing what? Sport coat and shorts.
I like the look.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd vote for that here in the booth over the course of the summer.
Very preppy. Jose Molina has a walk and a double. There's strike 1 to him.
By the way, if you don't count the minor league experience for Brett Oberholzer, and there's the, what'd you call it? What kind of look?
Fetching.
Fetching. Yeah, that is fetching. A bunch of young grown men wearing clothing like that. I think that'll catch your attention.
Was that a Miami Vice type trip?
Well, Don Johnson would be proud.
Yeah.
Well spotted here, down and away. Very nice location. Or as Mark Bailey used to refer to himself as John Donson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gotta like that a little bit. Fly ball to right field. John Donson. Number 2.
And he was more than fetching.
Well, Beetle could fill out a uniform.
He could.
We've heard.
I was going to say about Brett Oberholzer before rudely interrupted with fetching pictures of good-looking guys. 99 days of rest. He ought to be well rested for tonight's appearance.
Yeah, but that's only from one major league game to another.
There you go. Last pitched April 21st.
Strike 2, Johnson. Not Don and not John Donson, but Kelly Johnson. One of 2 that we know of in Houston, Texas tonight. The other an anchor at Comcast Sportsnet. That's off his leg and it rolls out on the right side of the infield. No balls, 2 strikes. Dodgers 6, Rockies nothing in the 7th. Oh, off the shin. Isn't that amazing that Lucas Harrell took that line drive off the shin and he's going to be fine apparently.
I was very surprised the other night that he was able to stay on. He says he's doing fine. Roy Halladay was a guy that took one of those shots off the shin and had a broken shin, cost him a bunch of time a number of years back.
That's out to center field. Barnes coming in, and that's a hit in front of him. 2-out single for Johnson, and he's 2 for 4. Looping flare over second base. Hitters love those, don't they?
One of those balls that drops in front of an outfielder where it just looks like to a lot of the fans maybe this guy had a shot.
Right. They were razzing him a little bit, but he didn't have a shot. Roy Oswalt is on the losing end of that Dodger Rocky game tonight. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings on 9 hits. His ERA 7.88. That's his 3rd start with the Rockies. Jennings takes a look at ball 1. He's had a huge night. 3 hits, a homer, 4 runs batted in. Clayton Kershaw has the shutout going for Los Angeles. Yasiel Puig hit a home run, his 8th of the year.
Imagine that.
Adrian Gonzalez, number 11. Guy's just on another planet, Ash.
Who's he vying for in the National League, or vying with for that Rookie of the Year award?
Himself.
Pretty much out there on an island at this point.
Yeah. There's the Jennings night.
This ball was rocked to left field.
Yasiel Puig's hitting .448. He's 3 for 4 tonight. 2 balls and a strike. He has an OPS of, well, let's figure it another way. He has an on-base percentage of .477, a slugging percentage of .752. So that's over 1,200 for an OPS. That's otherworldly.
Unless your name is Miguel Cabrera, and then you're kind of steadily living in that range.
So maybe the Dodgers will win that thing after all, huh?
Need to call him up to some higher league.
Yeah. Strike 3-2. Did you see the note that they're getting some American baseball now in Cuba on TV? It's been banned for a long time, but only selected games and usually on tape delay, and none involving Cuban-born players.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would have thought it would be selectively involving.
Nope. Bounce behind third and foul. They don't want the Cubans to know that people have escaped the island and are doing well in other countries.
You know, someday I think they're going to find out.
They might find out. You're right. Especially when these guys call home.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom, I'm hitting .752.
Yeah, be proud of it. They've got some tremendous young talent.
Oh, they do. Fouled away, still 3-2. White Sox 5, Orioles 2. They're in the top of the 9th inning at U.S. Cellular, where Adam Dunn has hit his 22nd home run. Connor Gillespie, number 6. And for Baltimore, Brian Roberts, number 1. The long injured Brian Roberts.
What is that thing they call the internet? Yeah, that's not thriving in Cuba apparently, huh?
Well, I don't know. May not be allowed in Cuba. Runner going, and it's foul back. You ever been to Cuba?
No, I have not made that trip.
Would you if you had a chance?
Understand it's a lovely island.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would love to have that opportunity. Not sure my passport qualifies.
Fly ball, Barnes backing in center field. To end the 8th inning, no runs a hit and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and it is 5-0 Rays.
Dog Day at Minute Maid Park. Watch the Astros face off against the Seattle Mariners at 7:10 and enjoy $1 hot dogs all game long. Top it all off with post-game fireworks. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets now. Brownie, you know I'll be there.
You are going to enjoy that, Julia. Dollar Dog Day. That little guy would enjoy it also. We have a pitching change. David Price out of the game in his first start since May 15th at the major league level. He apparently has reached a pitch count target. So Jamie Wright is coming in with a 1-1 record and a 3.03 ERA.
38 years of age. So no spring chicken running out there, but his numbers look like an up-and-coming prospect. 27 hits allowed in 38 and 2/3 innings. Whip right down near that 1 mark. Good numbers.
He has been around, as you have told us. Carlos Corporan now is 1 for 2. Facing Jamie Wright in relief of David Price, who in 7 innings allowed 3 hits, no runs, with no walks and 10 strikeouts. That's ball 1.
Pretty good looking pitch.
Jamie Wright beat a 12-game losing streak, snapped a 12-game losing streak against the Astros in 06. And he was the first pitcher to go 0-12 against a single team since Don Sutton lost his first 13 to the Cubs back in the 60s.
How about that? A Hall of Famer, 300 plus, big plus game winner. It's that many straight to the Cubbies.
Yeah. 13 in a So do Cubs.
Former Houston Astro.
Kevin Bass was telling the story about being traded for Don Sutton. Kevin was with Milwaukee, coming up as one of their talented young players. Pretty shocked to get the news that he had been dealt for the veteran Don Sutton, but they were in a pennant race. They wanted a veteran right-hander in Milwaukee.
Turned out to be a great deal for the Astros in getting Kevin.
It sure did. It worked out very well.
Of course, Milwaukee picking up Don Sutton. They were headed toward postseason play, and just a heck of a team, scoring a load of runs. So they got what they were looking for as well.
But did you realize they were both in the Milwaukee clubhouse at the same time after that trade?
They ignore each other or what?
No, they didn't. Kevin was sitting there in the Milwaukee clubhouse, and Don Sutton walked in with his new team. And he looked at Kevin Bass and he said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, they told me not to report yet because there's something to do with the waiver process or something, and I can't go to Houston." So they were both in the Milwaukee clubhouse.
No, I had no idea about that.
Rolled into right field. Carlos Corbin went down on that low pitch and got his second hit of the night. 4 hits for Houston in the game.
Carlos has just softly rolled a couple of balls that have found huge holes. Take a look at this. Vladimir Guerrero is alive and thriving.
He could do that, couldn't he?
He'd have waited till it bounced.
Yeah, it's Brandon Barnes batting. He's 0 for 2. He grounded into a double play and hit a fly ball to center field. David Price threw 70 pitches, 48 of them strikes. No walks, 10 strikeouts. And if this game continues the way it is right now, the Astros would have not fared well at all against any of the former Cy Young Award winners they've faced this year. 6 of them. Those 6 would be 6-0 with an ERA of about 1 against them. Joel Peralta's warming up for the Rays. Ball 1 to Barnes. The right-hander Peralta gets loose. Eric Bedard in 5 1/3 innings allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, walking 6, fanning 3. He threw 95 pitches, 54 for strikes. Barnes swung at it. 1-1. Josh Fields went 1 2/3 innings. He allowed 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, 1 strikeout. 22 pitches, 13 with strikes. Rays are trying to win their 45th of the year. They would make it 9 wins in the last 13 if they could nail it down tonight. And the throw goes over from right.
Jamie Wright was drafted a first rounder way back in '93, and the numbers he's putting up right now are really the best he's ever put up in the big leagues if he continues on this pace throughout the year.
Hit by the pitch. Barnes will head for first base, and it'll be first and second, nobody out for the Astros with Ronnie Cedeno. 2 up, but it's going to be Mark Krause.
I would question, did the bat come through the hitting zone? Was that a swing? I don't know that. Let's see, if that's deemed a swing, it doesn't matter that this ball hits Barnes.
They didn't ask for an appeal, did they?
No, they did not.
Now the pitch hitter is Mark Krause, heading for Ronnie Cedeno. Krause with a 1 for 10 performance as a major leaguer. He's looking for his first RBI. He's 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Krause came up from AAA Oklahoma City. Now Joe Madden comes out. He's got the right-hander Peralta.
And he's pointed. He's making a slow trek out there, but he made the decision just after coming out of the dugout. Jamie Wright, who had those very glimmering numbers, not as sharp tonight.
So the Astros have an opening. They trail 5-0 back in a moment. Some on the base paths as well. They trail 5-0. They were shut out last night, have not scored since the 6th inning Sunday against the Angels. A quick moving youngster, and he's watching Joel Peralta warm up. He'll be facing pinch hitter Mark Krause.
Peralta, another one of the veterans out of that bullpen, 37 years of age, in his 43rd game on the year, and his numbers are extremely good. Just 23 hits allowed in 36 in the 3rd innings. The Astros hope that he holds serve here with Jamie Wright in this 8th inning.
The left-handed hitters have managed just a 173 average against Peralta. Joe Madden has 3 lefty relievers, but he's chosen Peralta to face Mark Krause, who's 1 for 10 as a major leaguer. That one hit a double inside the right field line. Peralta leads the American League in appearances. Has 20 holds. Goes with a breaking pitch, and it's strike 1. In fact, Peralta leads all American League relievers in appearances since 2011 with 189. And since he joined the Rays in 2011, he has a club record 76 holds. In that period of time, left-handed hitters are hitting 167 against Peralta. In the dirt, and Krause is able to check his swing. It's 1-1 with Matt Dominguez on deck.
So statistically, that left-handed choice in this scenario, maybe not an easy success rate here.
That's true. Right-handers are hitting actually 12 points higher against him than lefty hitters this year. Peralta is from the Dominican Republic. Began his career in the majors with the Angels. Then he pitched for Kansas City, Colorado, Washington before joining Tampa Bay. Krause fouls it. 1-2.
Some kind of a change up there down and away. And as we say all the time, if you see a right-handed pitcher that's dominating left-hand hitters, it's going to be some kind of unique pitch, usually a changeup, splitter. The case of Mariano Rivera, don't need one. Not many guys, if any, can say that.
John Lackey won for Boston 4-1 over San Diego. He's 6-5. Foul by Krause, still 1-2. Koji Uehara got save number 5 for the Red Sox. The Astros bench, they're hoping for something to cheer about very soon. Astros 1-5 on this homestand. They've lost 4 in a row. They're now 6-7 all time against Tampa Bay. The Rays have beaten them 6 times in a row. Krause shoots one foul and stays alive with a ball and 2 strikes. Krause an opportunity to come up from AAA and make his first major league splash. He's hitting .277 for the Red Hawks, had 9 homers, 35 runs batted in, 43 walks, and a .393 on base average. He came in a trade Chris Johnson deal from Arizona last July 29th. Astros traded CJ, also Wandy Rodriguez, Carlos Lee a year ago. Foul back. It'll be interesting to see what this July brings.
You know, the Astros have been involved in a number of games recently where the starting pitchers done a really nice job in terms of pacing the ball game, and then once the game has turned to the bullpens, it's just had a real slowdown, like the brakes hit at that point. I don't know why that is with the guys coming out of the pen. Not that same kind of focus to move the game.
Krause taps it foul, staying in there at a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Again, that changeup.
Tigers beat the Blue Jays 7-6 in Toronto at Rogers Center with an 8th inning run.
You see it come out of the last fingers of the hand there. Nice job when you can get a piece of that pitch.
It's a major league whistle there, Ash.
Major league cap too in a couple of cases.
Krause takes strike 3, and that's out number 1.
So you show him the combination of fastball, changeup repeatedly, and then drop the big hammer right over the top. That appeared to catch a good part of the plate.
Peralta gets out number 1, and now it's Matt Dominguez. Dominguez struck out looking in the 3rd. He hit a fly ball to center in the 6th inning. Torrey Hunter drove in the tie-breaking run with a 2-out infield single in the 8th, and that Tigers win over Toronto. Detroit trailed 4-0. Well, the Blue Jays let one get away. They began the night at .500. They slipped to 41-42 now in the AL East. Strike 2 Dominguez. Jimmy Paredes on deck. Astros bat here in the 8th inning and try to break the scoring ice for the first time since the 6th inning Sunday afternoon. The Athletics lead the Cubs 3-0. They're in the middle of the 3rd in Oakland. Young and Donaldson have gone deep for Oakland. Foul tip makes it 0-2.
Brownie, you mentioned Roy Oswalt starting and losing tonight, and in 3 starts now, 16 innings, 27 hits allowed, 14 earned runs, a couple of dingers mixed in. Has struck out 21, but those are alarming numbers. 7.88 the ERA for Roy.
They are alarming. And just looking at highlights, it looked as if his stuff was pretty good in the 1st and 2nd starts.
First start, 11 strikeouts in 5 innings. Looked like he was ready to go.
Now the second baseman was dancing nearer the bag. Zobrist, the base runner Corcoran trying to get a bigger lead, and Peralta stepped off. Ryan Bogusevic in center field for the Cubs tonight in Oakland. A.J. Griffin on the mound for the Oakland Athletics. Bogey just got called up a few days ago. It's 1-2. been hitting very well at AAA Iowa. And he might play a whole lot if the Cubs decide to trade Nate Schierholtz. First meeting between Albert Pujols and the St. Louis Cardinals since he moved on. Angels 5, Cardinals nothing, bottom of the second. Lance Lynn on the losing end of that one. Angels are 39 and 43, working their way back toward 500. Off the plate, and Dominguez now has a 2-2 pitch coming.
The Angels have a long road to be able to pick up to get back in that race, but sure playing better baseball.
Jake McGee. Jared Weaver is pitching tonight for the Angels. They just got him back not long ago.
Could help a huge amount.
It sure could. Lance Lynn has given up 7 hits and 5 earned runs in 2 innings tonight. Dominguez puts it in the air behind second. Escobar gets underneath it. Infield fly is called. 2 outs. And now after the first 2 reached, the next 2 have been retired, and it's up to the number 9 hitter, Jimmy Paredes. Jimmy's 1 for 2. The Mets are drubbing the D-backs. It's 8-1 New York at the end of 7. Diamondbacks are 2 games above 500. They have been holding down first, and they are still holding down first, but in a very mediocre NL West. They have a 1.5 game lead on Colorado coming into play tonight. The Rockies have lost. All those teams doing a whole lot of losing recently, except for the Dodgers. Strike to Paredes. Dodgers have won 8 of 10 coming into play tonight. Everybody else on the losing side in terms of their record in the last 10 games. Arizona's lost 4 in a row. Of course, all kinds of trade rumors about the D-backs. Are they willing to part with a prospect to get a veteran pitcher? Fly ball left field near the line. Escobar sprints over for it, and then there's a catch by Joyce to end the 8th inning. No runs a hit, 2 men stranded. We move to the 9th. 5-0 Rays. Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. It's 5-0 Tampa Bay. The Rays are coming up here in the 9th inning after winning 12-0 last night. And the Astros will have the top of their order due up in the bottom of the 9th. Fred Oberholzer, pitcher number 3 for the Astros tonight, to face Joyce, Zobrist, and Longoria here in the 9th inning for Joe Maddon's club. Well, the Rays, who came into this game having outscored their opponents by 30 runs this season, are 5 games above 500. They seem to be gathering steam. And they're in a very favorable position to give David Price his 2nd win of the year. They come up here looking for more runs with Matt Joyce leading it off in the 9th inning. He hit a fly ball to right in the 6th. That's strike 1 for Oberholzer. George Springer's off to a nice start for that Oklahoma City club.
Isn't that great to see?
It really is. You know, for the season, of course, most of the numbers were compiled for AA Corpus Christi. Springer has 21 homers and 25 steals. He's the first man in professional baseball to reach the 2020 club this year.
Over 20 doubles as well.
That's right.
Yeah, so he'll strike out a bunch, but with the other numbers, I don't know how much it matters.
1-2. Playing a good brand of center field, they say.
Again, we got to see him early on in the spring, and he was terrific. I thought his talent just jumped out as he was with the other major leaguers.
Breaking pitch and a strikeout of Joyce. Number 1 for Oberholzer.
Good breaking ball to put away the left-hand hitter.
First major league strikeout for Oberholzer. Benjamin Zobrist is 0 for 4. Braves beat the Marlins 11-3 in Atlanta. Chris Medlin going to 6-7. There's ball 1. And Atlanta really looking strong in the NL East, especially with the struggles of Washington. The Braves brought a 6-game lead over the Nats into play tonight. And Washington has been shut out by Milwaukee 4-0. That's to center field for Barnes. 2 outs now for Oberholzer. Trying to make it 2 scoreless innings in relief. Braves banged out a season high 16 hits in routing the Marlins tonight. Chris Johnson hit a go-ahead double for 2 runs. Everything looking very, very nice in Atlanta these days with 49 wins for Freddie Gonzalez's team. Evan Longoria has a single and a walk tonight. Takes that slant for ball 1. Yankees lead the Twins 7-1 as New York bats in the top of the 9th at Minnesota. Robinson Cano hit his 20th. Line to right field. Paredes breaks in on it, reaches down off his glove behind him. He quickly recovers, and it's a sharp single for Longoria. Jimmy thought he should have had it. You can tell by that reaction. Like he might have been able to get that glove underneath it and make the play.
That line drive directly to an outfielder. A lot of times the glove will stay back. Body kind of lays out to the side instead of getting some extension there. And I think ultimately that's what cost Jimmy.
Very nearly out number 3, but instead Will Myers will bat. Myers is 0 for 3 with the sac fly.
Is Jimmy Paredes a guy that is comfortable as an outfielder, or does he still have that comfort level on the infield side?
Good question. Sam Fuld, the pinch runner for Longoria. Well, when Jimmy first came up a couple of years ago, he played third base, and he made some terrific plays at that position. He's been a shortstop and a second baseman. In right field this year, he's played deep, so he could keep plays in front of him like that last one, try to come in and make catches. Broken bat looper and a hit into right center field. Here's Fuld going first to third on the single by Myers. And Will Myers continues to produce very good results in his first few weeks as a major leaguer.
Doesn't look like he's pressing at all. It's his first hit on the night. Picked up an RBI with a sac fly early, but a little bit unique in terms of the style points.
Escobar's the batter now. Escobar 0 for 3 with a walk. Phillies snapped the Pirates' 9-game winning streak. Phillies won it at PNC 3-1. Jonathan Papelbon got save number 16. John Pettiball in the winner. Garrett Jones homered in a losing cause. That's strike one. A lot of questions about the Phillies, whether they could be trading a premium player such as Chase Utley. That's been rumored.
You know, they've got such a great fan base in Philadelphia. They've had a tradition of winning. Cough up a player like that, are you just signaling to everybody that we don't have a chance and we don't see a chance coming in the near future?
Good question. They are, let's see, 39-44 right now. 9.5 behind Atlanta.
And realistically, their chances are seemingly quite slim. But again, do you want to send that message to your terrific fan base?
Well, it might depend on how they explain the move.
Yeah.
Not sure who would be the closer if Papelbon moved on.
If you acquire something that can be perceived as altering your course in the near future for the positive, then you got something.
And you know, Papelbon's an older type closer, so it would not be illogical to trade him if they could get younger pitchers in return, if they have someone else to close. Out toward right center field, Paredes with the run over to his right. That will be a gapper. Will bounce high off the wall. 1 run home, and a second run will be scoring. Myers coming in. That's 7-0 now on the 2-run double by Escobar. 12th double for Escobar, giving him 33 runs batted in, scoring Fold and Myers.
And that play not made on the line drive by Evan Longoria that, if made, creates a 1-2-3 inning. And sometimes it's the defense that gets overlooked, but it's the defense that can make such a difference. He's finding the gap here.
Fold the pinch runner, followed by Myers on the 2-run double. That's 11 hits for the Rays. Escobar takes his lead with Loney stepping up. And strike one to Loney. Loney earlier in the game in the 4th inning extended his hitting streak to 13 games. Dodgers are batting in the top of the 9th inning at Colorado, leading the Rockies 7-0. It's 1-1. Dodgers acquiring Carlos Marmol earlier today. That should be intriguing to see how that deal works out.
Does that make them a better club or a more interesting club?
Definitely more interesting. To see if he can throw strikes and be effective in the back end of their bullpen. They traded Matt Guerrier. That's foul. 1-2. They took a real chance on a very unproductive and wild arm in Marmol, who in the past has been effective. Joe Saunders and the Mariners knocked off the Rangers in Texas tonight, 9-2. Saunders goes to 6-8, beating Justin Grimm, who's 7-6. Rangers are now 48-35. And Oakland is winning in the early stages, so Oakland could take over first place in the AL West. Leading the Cubs now 3-0 after 3, and Oakland win moves them a half game in front of the Rangers. That's out toward right center field. Paredes breaking in. That's a one-hopper. It gets by him, and that'll mean run number 8 will score. And into second, cruising in with an RBI double, Loney. And Paredes got trapped at a bad angle, couldn't stop the ball, and that's 4 straight 2-out hits here, and that's been the theme of this series. The Rays coming through with 2 outs and run scoring.
Yeah. When you're struggling, it's going to find you one way or the other. Tampa Bay's guys having a good time, but It's the good time the Astros were having recently, and until now starting to see some better clubs.
That's a dozen hits now for the Rays. Molina has one of those, a double. Molina puts one outside the right field line into the seats for strike one. Tampa Bay got a run in the top of the first, 2 more in the fourth, a couple in the 6th inning, and now adding 3 in the 9th so far. All with 2 outs. Last night in a 12-run assault, they had a number of those runs scored with 2 outs. Had 17 hits last night. That gives them 29 in 2 games now. And Molina swings at that one. Falls behind 0-2.
Brownie, you have in recent days posed the question about Yasiel Puig with the Dodgers as being an all-star this year. Well, Jonathan Papelbon has been listening, and for one, he doesn't think that Puig should make the all-star team. He says, to me, it's an absolute joke. Well, it's really kind of stupid, if you ask me, he goes on to say.
I wouldn't put it that way, but I agree with him. That's a strikeout on appeal to Bob Davidson. He swung and missed it. Strikeout number 2 for Oberholzer. Molina talking it over with James Hoyt. But 3-run score on 4 hits, and it's 8-0 Rays.
Stay tuned for Astros Postgame Live presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history.
And the Astros trying to stir things up here as Kyle Farnsworth comes in. The Rays have a chance for back-to-back shutout wins here in Houston. Peralta retired 3 in a row, coming in with 2 men on base. Jamie Wright with no innings pitched, gave up 1 hit, no runs, had no walks or strikeouts. He hit a batter. Kyle Farnsworth is 2-0. His ERA is 5.24.
One of the game's overpowering pitchers, certainly in years gone by. Doesn't look like the numbers would indicate that anymore with 11 strikeouts in 22 1/3 innings.
He has taken the ball so many times. Through those years, well, we came up a 47th round draft choice in '94, came up with the Cubs, moved along to Detroit, Atlanta, the Yankees, Kansas City, joining Tampa Bay in 2011. That first year with the Rays, he had a 5-1 record, a 2.18 ERA, pitching 63 times. He had 25 saves, and he's had closing opportunities, but primarily has been a setup man. And he's pitched more than 800 times in his major league career. He has struck out just about exactly 1 man per inning on the average. Jake Elmore is 0 for 3 tonight. Joel Peralta with 1 hitless inning struck out a man. And that's ball 1.
Still a good arm at 93, but nowhere close to what he once was. Guy that would bump around that 100 mark.
He sure would. 2-0. He's third on the game's pitch list on active pitchers.
You can tell he hasn't missed many days in the workout room.
He's a specimen. 2 balls, 1 strike. Third year with the Rays for Kyle Farnsworth. Wichita, Kansas. 2-2. He's on the mound for the Atlanta Braves in the 18-inning game here, the playoff game at 05, division series. Bottom of the 9th inning, Brad Ausmus at the plate. Ausmus hit a home run just to the left of the 404 sign to tie that game with 2 outs in the last of the 9th. Elmore strikes out. That's number 1. 12 strikeouts tonight for the Rays.
So let me press you a little bit more as we see this filthy slider down and away, putting away Elmore. Press you a little bit more on the Puig for All-Star issue.
Yeah.
Do you think it's good for the game? And let's throw aside all this. He's only been around a month or so, and I'm in complete agreement. But do you think it's good for the game to promote young stars maybe ahead of their time?
Yes. Jose Altuve. Little dribbler out to second base. Zobrist 2 out. I do think it's good for the game. I do not think it's fair to another player to put somebody who's played the game for 1 month in the All-Star.
Yeah, I would be in complete agreement. I just, you get a kid that has just caught so many people's attention in California.
Yep. Sensational.
Wow.
Sensational player for 1 month.
For 1 month is right. And it could turn the other direction.
Just not enough sample size to do it. But, oh, yeah, if he had been up all season, no doubt. Carter rocks one to right center field, sends that one a long way, but Jennings drifts over and makes the play. And that's a quick 9th inning. The Astros are shut out in back-to-back games. So with the final 3 innings of the Sunday game, that makes it 21 consecutive scoreless innings. And the Rays, meanwhile, go to 45-39. They've won 9 of their last 13. They've beaten the Astros 7 times in a row. They grabbed this one by a score of 8-0 at Minute Maid Park. Back in a moment.